Okay, so a common question that's been coming up is that people have been asking me to review how to convert between metric and imperial units, but for 2 dimensions and for 3 dimensions. Okay, so it's a little bit tricky sometimes, but what you have to remember is that the unit conversions are not direct conversions as they are in their one-dimensional form. So for instance, I'm going to start off with just the understanding that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. Okay, now what this means is that if we're doing a conversion, we can use this ratio, this rate, but only in one dimension. For 2 dimensions, what we can do is we can draw a square, okay, and what we would see then is that this would be, let's say, 1 inch, and if this was 1 inch, this would be 1 inch squared. Okay, so this would be 1 inch squared. Okay, but what this would mean is that this would be 2.54 centimeters on this side and 2.54 centimeters on this side. Okay, which means that essentially this is equal to 2.54. So this is 2.54 squared, 6.4516. So 6.4516 square centimeters. Okay, and once you have this rate, okay, then you can also come up with other ones as well, and you can do other problems. So let's just get rid of this. Okay, and let's go for a cubic rate as well at the same time. So let's say, for instance, I had, for a cubic rate, you just do the exact same thing. So you just draw a cube. Or let's just assume this is a cube, even though it's not. Okay, so let's just assume this is a cube, just so I don't have to actually draw like a real cube. Okay, so what I would get is that I would have 1 inch, this would be 1 inch, and this would be 1 inch. Okay, but what this would mean is that this would be 2.54 centimeters, this would be 2.54 centimeters, and this side would also be 2.54 centimeters. Okay, and so if I was to find the volume of this, so volume being length times width times height, okay, the volume would be equal to 1 inch times 1 inch times 1 inch, which is 1 inch cubed. Okay, the metric volume though would be 2.54 centimeters cubed. Okay, which is 16.387. So 16.387064 cubic centimeters. Okay, and then what I can do then is take this rate. Okay, so I would have that 1 inch cubed is equal to 16.387064 centimeters cubed. Now you may be wondering, like, well, how am I going to remember this? Well, it's not really required that you remember this. Remember that if you only know that 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters, you can use the square or the cube example I've just shown you and figure that out just when you need it. I don't think anybody would really expect you to remember this ratio here. Okay, so anyways, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. Okay, and I'll try and show an example here. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a ratio here. Okay, and let's say, for instance, we're given a problem, and it says something like convert, let's say 2.5 cubic meters into an unknown number of cubic inches. Okay, well, what we do is we go for our unit analysis. Okay, so I have 2.5 meters cubed Okay. Now remember that cubic meter to centimeters, we do the same thing. So if I had a box, okay, which was 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter, it would be 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters. Okay, so that is going to be equal to, I'll just pull this out quickly, 100 cubed. Okay, so this is 1 million cubic centimeters. Oops. Okay, so this would be equal to not equal to, times 1 million centimeters cubed per 1 cubic meter. Okay, and from our unit analysis I can cross out the cubic meters, but now my answer is going to be in cubic centimeters, which I don't really want. I wanted cubic inches. Okay, so instead what I'll do is I'll use this ratio that I have over here, and I'll say that, well, 1 cubic inch is equal to 16.387 cubic centimeters. Okay, and these will eliminate. Sorry, again, this shouldn't be equals, this should be multiplying. Okay, and so I end up with an equation like this, and I say 2.5 times a million divided by 16.387. Okay, so this would be 2.5 times 1 million. Is that a million? Yeah. Okay, and then divided by 16.387. Okay, and that would give me 15,000 or 152,559. So 152,559 inches cubed. Okay, well, and then once again, what if it wasn't in inches cubed? Okay, so what if it was in a different unit? So what if it was in yards or something like that? So cubic yards. Okay, well, in this case, again, I just do the same thing. Okay, I'm just going to move this question into a more convenient location here. Okay, what I would do is I would just start again, and I just say, okay, well, let's take a cube. Okay, like a unit cube, and I'd have, okay, well, what's the rate of conversion for a cubic yard to inches? Well, I'd have 1 yard, 1 yard, and 1 yard, okay, on the 3 dimensions. And remember that 1 yard is 3 feet, and each foot is 12 inches, so there's 36 inches in a yard. Okay, so 36 inches by 36 inches by 36 inches. Okay, so 1 cubic yard is equal to 36 cubed, 46,656. 46,656. Yeah. Okay. So take my little conversion rate that I just figured out there, and remember, I'm not memorizing these, I'm just coming up with them on the fly. The only one I've really memorized is this one here. Okay, I don't need this anymore. Okay, and then I have 15,2,559. Now I shouldn't have erased the other decimals there, but unfortunately with the calculator on the computer that I have, it was unavoidable. Okay, so this is inches cubed. Okay, times 1 yard cubed divided by 46,656 inches cubed. Okay, because these are equivalent. Okay, so I would take, okay, so 15,2,559, okay, divided by 46656. Okay, and I end up with 3.27 cubic yards. Okay, now this actually kind of makes sense too, because you should know that a yard is almost the same as a meter. A yard is slightly smaller than a meter. So if I have 2.5 meters cubed to start with, all right, that when I convert it to yards, it should almost be the same number, like a very similar number. And this one is a pretty similar number, and so this is why I would suspect that I am actually correct. Okay, now if I got like totally wrong number, I found it, let's say I found it was 152,000 cubic yards, and I have to say, well, clearly this is not correct. Okay, but that's pretty much how you do it. So what you do is you start off with your one-dimensional unit conversion. Okay, so this is, okay, so 1D, one-dimensional unit conversion. From that you can draw a square and find out the two-dimensional unit conversion, and from that you can draw a cube and find out a three-dimensional unit conversion that you're going to use. And that's really all you have to do for doing these conversions. It's just find out what the one-dimensional, two-dimensional, or three-dimensional conversion is, and then just do all the same stuff that you did for the other conversion types. Okay, so once again, if you have any questions, send me an email or drop me a line, put a comment in the comment box. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you are liking this series of videos, then please subscribe to my channel.